Hello, my hypnotic hedonists. Sorry I look a bit rubbish. I feel a bit rubbish. I thought I'd just speak a little bit about the OnlyFans stuff that's been happening and some fallout from that. So, as you probably know already, OnlyFans have moved from allowing people to make explicit content on the platform, not safe for work, to saying that not only can you not display explicit, not safe for work content, you also can't refer to it. So essentially, anything that's a little bit dirty doesn't seem like it belongs on OnlyFans anymore, which is a very strange situation to find yourself in. I'm not as affected, perhaps, as some of the other online sex workers that I know who mostly make their money through doing explicit porn with the stuff that I make with hypnosis, with erotic hypnosis. It's a grey area in a lot of ways, and that gives you some privilege on a lot of websites. Because, say, if I wanted to put some of the stuff that I make on YouTube, that's fairly easy because often I'm clothed, often I'm, talking about things that hypnofetishists find very erotic, but not the whole world would see as erotic. So I wasn't sure until they released the terms of service that I would have to move. I was thinking about moving anyway, but having seen the terms of service, I don't think I can satisfyingly make the kind of content that I want to make on that platform. And given that, recently I've been earning I'd say 3/4 of my income on OnlyFans, the income that I use to live and exist, to pay my bills, to buy food. It's a big change, big step to try and move. And I know a lot of other creators are also feeling very squeezed and very distressed at the thought of having to uproot. And now we've always been told that diversifying is... Ooh, I'm wonky. Diversifying is important because none of these platforms are ever permanent or stable places for us to make a living. So I do have my Patreon, and I'm very grateful that I have that. I'm grateful for everyone that subs to me there. But that makes maybe 1/8 of my income. And a lot less than OnlyFans, significantly less than OnlyFans at the moment. And with Patreon, the problem is that it allows not safe for work content in certain ways. It allows audio that's very erotic, although you have to be a little bit careful about how you're labeling things. They don't technically allow JOIs, for example, but they do allow guided touching. So, but when it comes to video, you have to essentially host it on another platform like YouTube or Vimeo. And YouTube, which is, I haven't had a Vimeo account so far, and I'm not too sure of their terms and conditions, but YouTube certainly has very stringent policies on not safe for work content, and it applies them quite unevenly. So you can't necessarily be sure about what content they're going to decide not to post, not to allow you to post. So for example, Shibby Says, Kinky Shibby, very well known and very lovely erotic hypnotist, had her whole account taken down recently for adult content. I know The Secret Subject struggles with it. I know that my friend Bondage Tuition, who does rope tuition, just talking about kink and, teaching rope ties, has also had his account, some videos suspended, a very slow process of verification on his account and things like that. And when he's asked for reasons from YouTube, they have been about as clear as mud. They once said to him that it was not always the content of his video that was the reason that it couldn't be hosted on YouTube. Make of that what you will. So, I am in the process of looking at new platforms, which for anyone is a difficult thing to do because you're weighing up a lot of factors. You're weighing up the future-proofing of that platform, you're weighing up how the platform works, the traffic that it gets. But for fetish performers, there's like an added layer of difficulty. OnlyFans itself didn't allow hypnosis specifically. Their terms of service banned it. At first it was a banned word, and then it was banned explicitly in the terms of service. So I had to make sure that everyone knew that what I was doing and what I am currently doing on OnlyFans is mesmerism or a mind fuck or, 1,000 other words for whatever you want to call it. So now I'm looking at moving platform, I'm looking at all the terms of service, so you can imagine that's a very tiring thing to do, to go through all these accounts, and it's not just me having this problem, it's other fetish performers going through all these accounts, looking at their terms of service, seeing if it's missing. But even if hypnosis isn't in the terms of service, if it's not banned already, which it may very well be, it might be a banned word. So even if it's not mentioned in the terms of service, I have to contact the platform and get clarity. And that's really tiring, and lots of other fetish performers are also having a very difficult time. If you make content where more than 4 limbs are bound, then that can be tricky, and lots of platforms don't allow it. And so that's the OnlyFans issue that I'm having, trying to decide, do I go to a new platform where this same thing might happen in October, because we're still not sure whether these same issues will raise their heads on other platforms that aren't future-proofed later, because a lot of these rules are coming from the payment processors, so we hear, which means that they'll apply to a lot of other websites as well, and they involve very tiring, over-the-top verification processes, even though the verification processes on OnlyFans, for example, on all the platforms I've ever signed up to, have been thorough as looking at anyone's ID will be, and their face. I don't know how much more could be done, and I think some of the things they're being asked to do are just going to choke my industry, and that's the point, ultimately. I digress. I've lost my thread entirely. Let me regroup. So alongside looking at other platforms, third-party platforms, I'm also thinking about whether I could make my own site. In some ways that's very appealing, because then I'll have control over how it's managed and no one's going to shut it down except me. But to do that I need to find a payment processor, and payment processors have the same issues. There's a couple that I'm looking at, CC Bill and BMT Micro, who I've seen running other sites doing erotic hypnosis, other people who sell files and such. But having had a conversation with one of those, BMT Micro, they will allow hypnosis content, and they'll allow not safe for work audio, but anything to do with sexually explicit content they won't have anything to do with. So I'm going to wait and see what CC Bills say. Either way, the rates that we are asked to pay are huge. Like, the percentage cut is huge. And I just today checked my Cash App, which is one of the ways that I've been processing payments for some of the sessions that I do, for example, and it's been shut down. Yay! For breach of terms of service, because Cash App technically doesn't allow you to use Cash App to run adult services. I can argue, and I will, because obviously there is a grey area in the online sessions that I do. They're hypnosis sessions at the end of the day. They're erotic hypnosis sessions, but they're still hypnosis sessions. And actually, a lot of the time, people's clothes don't come off. So is that sexually explicit? I don't know. It's adult, but... So I'm in this position of trying to... I just want to work. I just want to make content. I want to make content for this amazing community and these fabulous fetishists that I count myself a part of. And, you know, some days that's difficult in that I don't always feel that pretty. I don't feel that pretty right now, I'll tell you that for free. Sometimes I feel tired or I don't feel in the right mood, but I love doing it. In general, I fucking love making erotic hypnosis content. I love making sexual content. I love making things that are genuine hypnosis. I love porn. I love making porn with my friends. It's the best. It's the most rich, rewarding, creative job I've ever had. And I'm so in control of so many aspects of my work. But the parts that I can't control, which is the administrative part, which shouldn't be difficult, really, should it? Are the bits that exhaust me. So, that's where we are. Keep trying. Because sex work isn't going to go anywhere, is it? It doesn't matter what Visa, MasterCard do. It doesn't matter what Exodus and other Christian extremist think tanks and hate groups do. It doesn't matter. Because you folks are still going to want to buy horny shit. Thank goodness. And I believe that the ability to express yourself, your erotic self, is one of the most important freedoms that we have. And it's incredibly important to defend that and to be open about it. And a lot of the hypnosis misunderstanding comes from a misunderstanding about what hypnosis is able to do. And as a hypnosis educator, that's important to me to challenge. As a sex worker, an online sex worker, you know, I know that this is going to be an increasing issue that we're facing, and that, especially being face out and talking about it, there might be ramifications. There's well documented evidence now that companies are tracking social media use and linking that to things like fundraisers. A sex worker had her fundraiser for medical bills cancelled because a few retweets on Twitter mentioned porn. So it starts with us, but it doesn't end with us. And no matter how hard they try, they're not going to stop us making stuff, because it's vital. It's hedonism. It's who I am. But it's hard sometimes. So there, a little thought for the exhausted OnlyFans girls and other online sex workers who are having to navigate these ridiculous, twisted jungle of a terms of service agreement and different platforms and what they allow and what they don't allow, and trying to use euphemisms for everything, and even our, existence on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. Don't get me started on TikTok, honestly. Is constantly being questioned and challenged, and our work is pushed further and further to the margins. And you can be an important part of supporting us by being vocal about your support. And, following where your favourite sex workers go, because your money's what we live on. And we really value the fact that you choose to spend it with us. Thank you for listening to my kind of sad rant. I hope it made sense. It may or may not have. Just know that I'm tired right now, and I won't be tired soon, because I'll figure it out. Ain't no fucking way this is stopping. I'll do it. I just need to regroup and then put my energy back into it. Thank you for supporting me.